based on what you saw in scrimmages and in here since July, what gives you optimism you're ready to roll?
Well, we're certainly ready to go. Being able to be with the team so much for the summer, is necessary at this point because you have so many new faces. But it has been plenty of time, and we feel like we're ready to go and really like this group to work with, and think we have I think we have a chance to be good.
How do you accelerate the chemistry with 5 new fellas, transfers and 2 freshmen?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is being in the gym and working together, and we're in the weight room, most days, we're on the court most days, and you're working together. And I think just, the most important ingredient to have good chemistry is having good guys, and we definitely have that. So that we feel like is difficult to come by, and we feel fortunate to have that. And then the second thing is just being together and working together as much as possible. So I don't think there's a magical formula, but certainly you can't have good chemistry without good guys.
You see your 2 big fellas, like Walt and Jonathan Beagle, playing together.
It's possible. I think that Ryan Sulis, who is more recently available to us after recovering from an injury, I think as he progresses and becomes somebody who could go in the lineup, then we'll have more of 2 big guys, to include Mike, Ryan, and Jonathan, be able to play together. 2 of those 3 play together.
You have had good success with transfers, almost always. Is that partly because there's stability here? You're heading into your 20th year. People know what to expect when they explore the possibility of coming here.
I think that plays a role. I think the fact that things are stable here, that we have a particular way we do things. When a student athlete is on his 2nd or 3rd decision, that might be comforting to them, or at least reassuring that when they come in here, that even though they're starting something new, that the program's not starting over. So I do feel like that's something that's been positive. It's still most important to get the guys that are good enough players that can help you and who work hard. But yeah, I do think that helps us to attract those guys. The stability, not only of me and our staff, but of the University of Richmond and everything that's in place, and the importance of basketball for a long time.
Do you advise your fellas in terms of election day, not who to vote for, but vote, get involved, anything along those lines?
Yeah, it would be hard to miss it on I would assume, every college campus. But yeah, there's a vote or get out a vote sign in every hallway, and materials that they can read, things that they can listen to. So yeah, I think they're pretty inundated with the idea of how important it is to vote. So we talk about it, but they hear it and see it so much. I think they have the idea.
What did the scrimmages tell you that practice didn't, or maybe couldn't tell you?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. I would say that you get an idea, a little bit of. It's not so much that you don't know how fast you are, but you get a little bit of how fast everybody is on the floor, so it kind of becomes the same day after day. So speed, strength, that athletic ability. And I think that when you see another team play, then it stands out to you. Okay, well we're fast in this area, or we're athletic in this area, whatever the case may be. And so I think that got to show us a little bit of just how quick some of our players are, how easily our big guys move. That would be one thing that really will stand out, just how fluid, strong, and athletic they are. So those would be probably the things that I would say stood out the most.
A Division II opponent during the regular season is something not seen very often, if ever. How much of this is out of necessity? How much of this is because you have a relatively new team and playing with each other? And, Coach Odom says we're probably going to see more of this in the future, just because of the challenge that scheduling is for teams in the Atlantic 10 and that level.
Yeah, I would say it's 100% out of necessity for us to, we've scheduled as aggressively as we possibly could for all the past years that I've been here, certainly before me, and it's just feels impossible now to do that, and we're trying our best, but we just cannot come close to getting the number of games that we'd like to get. at that level. So I agree with Coach Odom. I think this is something that we're going to see more and more of, and I hope that we're able to be a team that can schedule as well as we traditionally have. But right now there are a lot of challenges in that.
What can you tell us about Mount Olive from, we don't really know anything about them from what you've seen on tape and their history or anything?
Yeah, so I don't have it either. So we don't. I'll know more next week. I know they're going to play Wilmington on Monday, so we'll have them against a Division I opponent. I just know they're a Division II school from North Carolina. So at the moment, I don't know very much.
With game 1 being 6 days away, how happy are you with where your team's at right now?
I'm actually very pleased. I thought that we've practiced well, and then in the scrimmages, I thought we did some things well. Certainly like everybody, we have a ways to go, but I do feel like we're ready to play. I feel like we've managed our time well. We also have guys who are, for the most part, really, really hard workers and able to concentrate so they can pick things up and learn things. So from that perspective, I do feel like we're ready to play, even though it is different because you have new guys and whatnot from one year to the next, but I feel like we're ready.
Your personal excitement level to start another season here at U of R and get another season underway? Put on the game uniforms after a long off.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to get started. I feel like, I love being at Richmond personally. I love our program. I think that basketball season here is something that's very exciting, and we look forward to the Robins Center and game nights. So I'm excited to get going.
Feel like 20 years or feel like 5 years or feel like 40 years? Yeah,
good question. It doesn't feel quite like 20, but more than 5. So, this is probably the time where I would think about it, because starting a season and, there are some things that happen every year at this time as we're getting ready, and then having new faces and all the changes that have occurred. So it feels like a little while, but not quite 20.
Hey, Delani, what gives you confidence that this team's ready to roll? What do you see out here?
Well, definitely from the first 2 scrimmages that we have. I think we've gotten better from the first scrimmage to the second scrimmage, and then also through practices. So I definitely think we're ready. I think we're ready for another opponent and to finally get one of those wins under our board on our record.
Generating chemistry is a big deal. It was a big deal last year. It's a big deal this year with new guys. Sort of a slow start last year based on what you did after. How do you avoid that? How do you generate this chemistry pronto?
I think we just got to control what we can control. I don't think we can worry about starting slow or starting fast. We know we have in the locker room. We know we have as our coaching staff, and we just have to trust one another and play the best we can every night.
What is the discussion about voting? Not who to vote for, but election day coming up Tuesday. What's the chatter?
Just letting everyone know we do have a bunch of guys that are 18 plus. Everyone has a voice. It's not really political wars where we're talking about who we're voting for or anything. It's just knowing that you have a choice, and whether you use that choice, you do have a voice. So whichever you choose to do, we support you 100%.
What did you learn from the scrimmages that you may not have known about specific things about this lineup, not just things that work, but things that need to be worked on?
See, that's kind of tough, because throughout the interviews that I've done, I've kind of hit it spot on where I felt like we'll be balanced. We're pretty fast. We're pretty smart, so I think all of those things showed up in the scrimmage. One thing that I do think that I didn't think of before is how gritty we are. I think we can be a little bit more gritty based on the 2 scrimmages, so I just hope that we are able to pick up that level.
Do you think that the fact that you guys come from such AAU backgrounds where you play a lot with a lot of different kids all the time, does that help you assimilate at this level when the portal turns over rosters nearly every year?
I think it's definitely a different type of style of basketball, but speaking to AAU, I think that speaks to how chemistry can be created. When you play on one team your whole career, or you play on multiple teams, you'll always learn that the basketball can create amazing relationships, and those are the relationships that you cherish. So whether you're in college, the continuation from AAU, I think that's one thing that stands out for sure.
What's the confidence level with you personally and with the team going into a new season? How excited are you to actually play a game that matters to your win and loss?
Oh man, super excited, man. Like we've been killing each other since the summer. Where we've been going back and forth, just guarding each other, trying to put each other on the floor, just taking out anger. So it's gonna be really good to do that to another team. Not saying we're gonna hurt anybody, but just to be able to go out there and play a basketball game against another team.
Looked like in the scrimmages there were a lot of threes taken and a lot of threes made. Is there a happy medium there somewhere? I mean, I know putting the ball in the basket would be great, but not to fall in love with the three all the time.
Yeah, I think that's important, not to fall in love with the three. I think we have to use our three ball as our luxury, not something that we rely on. I think running offense deep into the clock is what we should rely on, and I feel like the more we do that, the more open and great shots we would get, and we have terrific shooters around the whole squad that would be able to knock them down. So as long as we present ourselves with the right opportunity, we'll be able to knock shots down.
Coach Mooney's been able to draw quality transfers, including yourself. How much of that is having a stable place with a stable coach, knowing what you're going to get into rather than in some instability that might be going on?
It's super important because the first thing that you realize is culture. Every great basketball team has a culture established early, and that starts with the recruitment process in the summer all the way throughout. You get guys to buy in early, and then they really see what the process is like as we get all the way to the season. So as we're at the start, I feel like we're in a great position at that, and we just have to keep it going.